Welcome to the Center for Democracy and Technology's short training on cyberinsurance and cybersecurity in education. As schools continue to face cyber attacks, many of them are turning to cyberinsurance as a way to help manage the risks and impacts of these attacks. Cyberinsurance can offer schools a way to help mitigate some of the costs of an attack. That can mean things like paying for improvements to the school's systems to help avoid future breaches, restoring funds that were inadvertently transferred in a phishing attack, or access to services like computer forensic to help determine how the cyber attack happened. Cyber insurance plans can offer an additional benefit, though. Applications for insurance typically ask questions designed to evaluate the robustness and security of the school's computer system in order to determine the cost of premiums. These questionnaires can help schools understand some of the most impactful cybersecurity improvements they can make to their own systems, which can in turn help them avoid breaches. The goal of this training will be to help schools take advantage of this pool of knowledge to strengthen their own cybersecurity posture. Because insurance companies want to limit the number of claims they will have to pay out, their applications will be designed to assess how vulnerable schools are, particularly to more common types of cyber attacks. Schools can take advantage of the research done by insurance companies to focus their resources on the most impactful cybersecurity improvements first. Let's talk about those impactful security practices and discuss how they can help protect schools. This section will review some of the most common questions on cyber insurance applications and their corresponding security improvements. Many applications ask whether or not the school has a designated person who is responsible for cybersecurity. If there's no one person in charge of the school's cybersecurity, it is easy for people to miss security issues, assume they are not important, or figure that someone else will handle them. Having someone whose job is maintaining security can ensure that security issues are not lost amongst other competing priorities. Cyber insurance applications also typically ask whether employees are trained on security issues and practices. Most cybersecurity incidents ultimately stem from a human mistake. By some studies, it's as many as 95%. Consequently, training employees to recognize potential security issues and understand how to protect the system's security is a critical part of heading off breaches and security incidents. Applications also tend to ask what kind of protection and security controls the school has in place, things like firewalls. Many attackers try to get access to the school's systems in order to find valuable data that they can then export and expose. Keeping attackers off the system via practices like firewalls can help avoid attackers getting sensitive data or damaging the system itself. A few more common questions from applications include things like, does the school back up its data and systems? Data backups can be invaluable if a school is hit by a ransomware attack, where the attacker locks users out of their own systems and demands a ransom to restore access. If a school can restore its own systems, it may be able to avoid paying the ransom without losing critical data or systems. Insurers will also often ask whether the school has up-to-date policies on security and privacy. Clear policies help non-security expert users, like many teachers and administrators, use the system safely rather than relying on their own judgment. Of course, these policies are only helpful if users know and understand them, which is why insurers also ask about training. Finally, most companies will also ask about what kind of data the school collects, particularly with respect to sensitive data like social security numbers or medical information. Of course, schools need to collect this data in some cases, but all data represents risk as far as cyber attacks are concerned. Consequently, insurers want to be confident that schools are collecting this information thoughtfully and with consideration about how to protect and store it. minimizing the amount of data they collect, and deleting data when it is no longer needed can minimize the potential damage in the event of a cyber attack or data breach. There are a few other questions that are less common in insurance applications, but still provide valuable cybersecurity lessons. Some applications ask about account protection techniques, like multi-factor authentication or access control procedures. Attackers can take advantage of a user's privileges if they are able to access their account, meaning the attacker could view and maybe steal things like student information or payroll data. So protecting accounts is an important part of protecting the system as a whole. Other applications ask about data destruction and retention policies, since, as we discussed before, minimizing data by deleting unneeded data also limits the damage done if the school's data is breached. Applications might also ask about whether the school has an incident response plan in place for cyber attacks. These plans can help schools act efficiently and effectively in the event of a cyber incident, potentially limiting the damage done. Thank you for participating in our training. We hope it has been a helpful resource in learning about valuable cybersecurity improvements to help schools prevent and prepare for attacks. If you want to dig further, we've included additional resources from CDT and other organizations that offer more information on these security practices. We've also included our contact information, so feel free to reach out with additional questions or suggestions on this training. Thank you again for joining us.